Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Kim Getgen, founder and CEO at Innovation Force. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ben. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. Let's dive right in. Tell us about your background.
So, 25 years in commercialization, entrepreneur experience. Across those 25 years, so I worked for large companies and startups. I had a reckoning in 2019 where I realized I am not a great entrepreneur. Accept my stripes. I'm an entrepreneur. So I got the message, and ever since then, I've been really more seeking the intra or more entrepreneurial pursuits, and was really the aha moment when I started Innovation Force. But had my second experience starting a company. I had started a cybersecurity company back in 2003. Now it's a long time ago, over 20 years ago, acquired by McAfee. So yes, I've accepted my entrepreneur stripes. A zebra cannot change their stripes.
Right. So, second time around. And can you tell me a little bit more when you say commercialization? So, founders I interview sometimes, they came up through the engineering side or cybersecurity side or business side or sales side. So, tell me a little bit more about commercialization.
Yeah. So sales, marketing,
Okay.
product,
Gotcha.
and really helping it inside large companies, startup companies, really helping organizations take ideas and commercialize them, bring them to market is where my 25 years of experience has really repeated itself time and time again. So yeah, pretty deep there.
Okay. And then so this is your second time around with a company. So let's talk about that. Tell us the products and services that Innovation Force offers.
Yeah. So Innovation Force is an AI-powered SaaS platform. Got all the right buzzwords in for 2024. It's not like it was in 2003, but it's a SaaS platform that democratizes innovation. And so, what do I mean by that? Let me start a little bit maybe with the problem to get everybody centered on what it is that we're trying to do, the why. 3 million, or I'm sorry, $3 trillion is spent on innovation a year. And it's estimated that about $2 trillion of that is wasted, with 70% of transformation projects failing. And 6% of CEOs are just frustrated because they don't know where their innovation program is. And so this opened a great opportunity for Innovation Force because SaaS is the perfect technology to do a workflow behind this process of innovating, measure it, track it, get the C-suite some financial data on the value that's being created company-wide on your innovation program. And then with the AI connection, this is pretty interesting, but my co-founder, Dr. Lynda Hill, out of Harvard Business School, is a world-renowned expert in innovation. Her book, Collective Genius, great TED Talk associated with that book, over 3 million views. Her IP and 20 years of work in this field is now being used as AI expert tips and tricks inside of the platform to democratize innovation, meaning why spend seven figures if you can get it from our platform for a fraction of the cost? So we really are about spreading this, scaling this, going global, and helping innovators worldwide be able to drive their innovation programs easier, faster, better.
Yeah, yeah, fascinating. And this is all about, is it just taking the from concept? Like there's no product service yet, but some company has a concept within inside the company and like, okay, now, like you said, how do we commercialize it? How do we take it to market? I'm sure more involved with that. But is it really just as simple, hey, we got a group of people together, we've got to come up with some new ideas, new products. So taking it from that stage.
100%. And this is what I think is eye opening for a lot of people. It was even eye opening for me because I never really thought about it until I started putting the pieces together with this platform. Innovation is anything new or useful that creates value for an organization or its customers. That's the definition. But think about that for a minute. I have a new idea and I'm working in a company. What do I do with it? It's not always obvious. Some new ideas may come in because I'm being sold to. Let's say I'm the head of IT and I've got a really cool digital transformation project that I'm being sold. I may know what to do with that project, or I may know that doesn't fit in our budget or our strategic objectives, and I can say no to it right away. But what if I'm a field worker at a utility and now I'm using AR, VR goggles for the first time? Like, how do I take that through or even get it like mandated for use? because I see a huge safety potential. So this platform is really intended to be the new ideas that are the first time. If it's new and a first time, put it in a centralized platform like Innovation Force. And then that would allow you to give your workforce a standardized way to work the idea through a process that the business feels is important for them to get behind the idea. Innovators see ideas full of potential. The business sees risk. So innovation is not as straightforward as it sounds because you're butting right up against the things in the organization that are meant to slow new ideas down. So if the business can sign up for a standardized process that's offered in our workflow and they vet it and they approve it, now innovators know if I get a new idea and I put it through this process, it's going to be simple, it's going to be safe because my business is bought off on it and I know what to do with it. So that is really what we're doing. Innovation is not an art. Sure, collaborating and some of the magic soft skills that we need to innovate are an art, but the purpose behind Innovation Force is we believe it's a disciplined science. Very much back in the day of Salesforce, right? Salesforce, art, everyone in the company should be selling. Guess what? It's a disciplined process. Same with innovation. Innovation is an art that should involve everyone because there's a sales component to it. But you got to put it through a disciplined process to get the results. So we're on a mission to standardize innovation and democratize it so anybody can do it.
And I'd love to hear about your ideal customer profile here and who you're targeting, because I could see, right, Fortune 500 company, right, constantly have to innovate or fall behind. So who are you targeting with this product?
Yeah, we want to target the complex, big, regulated, typically bureaucratic, highly engineering driven is another great fit for us because innovating there has traditionally been hard. So we want to work with those organizations that may not necessarily be thought of as the leaders in innovation, but those that are trying to innovate to drive digital transformation or change, maybe even through antiquated industries. And I don't use the word antiquated as negative in any way. It's like we haven't seen a lot of change in some of these industries. And so let's take energy. So we started in energy. We wanted to build a very verticalized product in the beginning to get product market fit. And so we started in energy. We bootstrapped it in energy with a customer, Portland General Electric, who has been prototyping this with us for 2 years before the launch this January. So we went really, really, really deep in one of the hardest industries because we knew if we could have a product that would work in energy, it would work in any other regulated industry, financial services, industrial, telecom. That's where our sweet spot is. But we started in energy. And then there was, of course, the reason around decarbonization and mitigating climate change. We believe innovation could be the greatest weapon to mitigate climate change. But if you're in a highly regulated utility, publicly traded, lots of controls and financial scrutiny, I just can't take any idea off the shelf and go throw it in the field for a trial. So they really, really, really needed us to help them think through how could they drive a standardized process, but then also how could they get their entire workforce involved? Because they needed those ideas to come from people closest to the problem, even people in the field, right? So we talk about really trying to scale this to the front line.
Yeah. So yeah, some big verticals, telecom, financial services, energy. And then who, like, these seems like big companies, right? So who are you trying to reach in those companies
Yeah.
to start that conversation?
Yeah. So there are new titles out there like head of innovation, chief innovation officer, head of R&D, head of product development, head of customers, right? Like maybe new revenue generating customer products. Those are all kind of our traditional, they make sense. They're like, I'm already driving innovation, or they may say, yeah, I'm driving innovation out of a spreadsheet. It sucks. Is there a better way? Like these Post-it notes and spreadsheets are killing me. Yes, there's a new modern way of innovating. And so that's really the sweet spot. It's like, I hearken it back to when HubSpot got started and created a seat at the table for the chief marketing officer. That's what we're trying to do. I see a future of work where there's going to be innovation managers, like change managers or project manager professionals back in the day are going to be our innovation managers of the future. You're going to be certified. you're going to have a career path in innovation management. Universities are already teaching it, right? So now this is going to be a bona fide real career path, I think, for a lot of people. And so imagine, being able to certify now innovation managers that go into companies and know how to drive this sort of change. It's really, really exciting. But for today, we're really trying to build that seat at the table, just like HubSpot did with CMOs, for heads of innovation and leaders of
Yeah, I love
transformation.
it. Yeah, love it. That's great inside the companies to be able to really kind of productize that whole process. So,
Yeah.
what year did you found Innovation Force?
It happened. It's a COVID baby is really when I started thinking about it, but incorporated it in 2021. And that's when we started working with the Portland General Electric. It was actually I was running their innovation program for 5G transformation. And then in 2022, had realized we had enough use cases here that like the spreadsheet was outdated the minute I put there's 140 use cases, and it was, like, outdated the minute I put something in, and then I was innovating with over 1,000 people inside and outside. So that's when it got really, really, really started where we said, "Hey, Portland, can we build something? You really need a SaaS platform." And I had played around with commercial off-the-shelf solutions, and they just didn't work. And so with their support, we were able to get innovation funded through a customer project.
Yeah, that's great. And
And then I
then,
boot it, yeah.
okay, so 2021 started working kind of with that initial design partner to help you craft the
Yeah.
product. And then
Like,
do
how are we
you,
gonna do
yeah, and then do you have a company location or are you all
Yeah.
virtual?
No, we are virtual, but we headquartered in Raleigh in the Research Triangle. A lot of people don't know this about Raleigh, but it's a great headquarters for clean tech and engineer. Lots of really good energy engineers in that area. Lots of great universities right there. So it was a logical fit. I actually live physically in South Carolina, right on the border, and then our team is around like virtual. So we've got folks throughout the U.S., but even in London, and we're starting a deployment in the Philippines.
Okay, and then what's your current team size?
About 15.
15 right now. Okay, and anything you want to share around ARR revenue ranges?
Mhm. Yeah, we're in the million to 2 million range in ARR this year. We'll be breaking a million.
Okay, great. Well, congrats on that 1 million. That's always a big milestone. And then we talked a little bit about your ICP, going into these, something like large companies. But tell us a little about your go-to-market motion. How are you reaching out to
Yeah,
the head of innovation or head of product, head of R&D?
yeah, yeah. So it's an ecosystem play. So Y Energy's another beautiful fit for us is that utilities actually cooperate because they want to mitigate risk, and they mitigate risk by buying together. And so inside of the energy industry, if you're able to find like a good segment of like 10 to 15 utilities that are using your platform, you could hit a tipping point that it becomes an industry standard. So for us, who we wanted to work with was the head of R&D ecosystems inside of the energy industry. So the Electric Power Research Institute is a member-funded nonprofit that is 450 utilities or 500 million, I think they do a year in membership. They were a key strategy for us. So we have an MSA in place with them so that we can resell our platform through prepaid EPRI membership dollars back to their utilities. So we're targeting those 450 through EPRI. And we're also working with some of the other ecosystem players in North America. So national labs, research labs, and people who are creating these ecosystems of many utilities. We're dropping this platform right there so we can scale it really quick throughout the whole industry.
And that's great. I love that because that just shows like you mentioned, like understanding the buying process. How do they buy? Do they buy together or through some
Right.
sort of purchasing vehicles or an association for better price? Just the importance of understanding the buyer's journey. And switching over to the fundraising side, how much capital have you raised to date?
Yeah. So as I said, this was bootstrapped, and then and customer revenue drove at the beginning, and then we started a pre-seed round, and our target was 500,000, which we exceeded, and it's still evolving. So we're north now of 500, well north of 500,000. But this is a really neat story for a lot of entrepreneurs who are like in 2024 going, "Oh my God, what the heck is going on?" It's always like You know how we talk about these 100-year storms on the news every day, and it's like, how can there be, like, every day a 100-year storm? In in the, fundraising world, we're looking at this going, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen this ever." Like, look at how the multipliers and what's going on with SaaS multipliers, and we can't raise money, and Silicon Valley Bank, and, like, it's just, like, added on, added on, added on. What I found was really helpful in this really crazy time was, 1, stay flexible, but 2, I tapped my network, and I have this amazing network and through Harvard Business School. So I went back as an exec ed program. It was called the General Management Program back in 2019. And so Harvard Business School and the exec ed program has a network of 5,000 exec ed students. And if you just amazing story, Ben, like we really do all try to support each other. In fact, what I was just doing before this call was I was doing an overview for the class so that they could see. So I partnered with my Harvard Business School professor that I met in the class, and half of our pre-seed was raised by the individual's classmates, my colleagues and peers in that class writing a check. And I want to say we had at least 13 from the class write a personal check, and we made it easy for them to get involved and do that from over 10 countries around the world. So we weren't just democratizing innovation. We wanted to make the participation of my class like democratize it so they could join as well. So you didn't have to be an angel investor per se. You could individually contribute.
No, that's amazing. And just the power of network in those communities with that pre-seed. So raise the pre-seed. So it sounds like well north of 500,000, maybe not closed yet. And you mentioned, you started bootstrapped and maybe a little
Yeah.
customer revenue to fund the
Yeah.
company. So what led you to that pre-seed and why raise that pre-seed?
Yeah. First, I had to convince myself that being a serial entrepreneur, right? I had to convince myself that the milestones were there. The last thing you want to do is take money from people and have this thing not work. So I took that very seriously. In fact, my family invested, as many, find in this, day and age that you've really got to make sure. In fact, I live with my family now, so I got to make sure that they're as happy with the performance as I am. But the milestone was getting the MSA in place with the Electric Power Research Institute and knowing that they were on board with this idea, because that was just huge, because I was competing against them for wallet share and it didn't make sense for us to compete. We were complementary. So that was great. So that milestone being met, and it was very difficult, right, to get through all of the paperwork for them to do this. I don't think they've ever done it before. And so it took a really, really novel approach for them to think out of the box and work with us. The second was the joining of my Harvard Business School professor, Dr. Lynda Hill. So it was about a year ago, and when I showed her what we were doing and building it in SaaS, she got so excited about it that she gave us the exclusive rights to her IP, and we swapped it for equity, and she took a minority stake and invested. With her on board and the MSA with EPRI, Portland General Electric as a paying customer, we completed a program called EPRI Incubate Energy Labs, which brought us our second customer, Fortis Inc., huge utility based in Canada. That gave us the milestones to then go and raise the pre-seed from outside of my during
Yeah.
the pre-seed raise.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
love that.
we did. I mean, we got well, I'm just so excited, but Peter Sondergaard at the Sondergaard Group invested, and he spent his career at Gartner looking at innovation management. And so with him on board, he really validated. And then we got an investor from Salesforce.com on board. And so then the outside investors that had validation in the market started to roll in.
And for the other SaaS founders listening right now, any fundraising lessons that you can pass on to them by going through this pre-seed round?
Yeah, I mean, it was, don't pay attention to the 100-year floods that are happening every day, right? The sky's always falling. It's always falling. This is just a crazy time. So I would say be flexible, but stick to your convictions. If you believe in what you're building, build. I think finding the customer to bootstrap this with was good and bad. good from the perspective that it allowed me as an entrepreneur to believe in this and put a lot of money in it myself to bootstrap it. Bad because I didn't have a clean sheet of paper then to go out and raise, a huge round, which I'm seeing a lot of folks doing, especially in the AI space. You're seeing these crazy, crazy raises. So the other thing I would say is I believe it's totally true that, your network believes in you. And you can't find a better investor than the person that writes the personal check because they believe in you. And it's been an uplifting experience for me. And so those days that you're down, you can think about them. I have their pictures here. I look at them. They get me out of bed in the morning on the tough days. I could pick up the phone and call them. But they send me emails almost every day saying, we can't believe how well you're doing, sending LinkedIn messages. They're behind it 100%. So I would say it is true that your first investors will invest in you. And so don't downplay your uniqueness and your special gift.
Yeah, I love that insight. And then, Kim, at this stage of your business, you're a couple years in. Do you have a favorite number or metric that you look at to guide the business?
Yeah, we're still really early. So the metrics that we pay closest attention to are, of course, our MRR and ARR because sales, it's sad to say, but sales does solve a lot of your problems. So that's really important. But it is the metrics that we're looking at are really the metrics coming from our platform, which are telling us if we're delivering the ROI back to our customers that they care about. So we watch those really closely. So things like the ROI back, like for example, to Portland General Electric, how many days have they been able to shave off of their innovation process? I think last year they calculated that they are piloting like 65% faster. They shaved over 120 days, I think, out of their prototyping stage of the innovation process, and they're making decisions 85% faster. So those are the things I'm paying attention to because that helps me go out and sell my next customer.
Yeah, and it seems like always a combination of some financial metrics, but then like product usage, right? That product
Yeah.
adoption that you're looking at.
Early
So
on, as you're trying to product market
yeah.
fit, argue, yeah, thesis that, yeah, you need to pay attention to your business case metrics with your customers.
And then, Kim, as we wrap up here, what's coming up next for Innovation Force?
Yeah, so we are raising our seed round. We are excited about that. And we're raising the seed round to really develop and turn this 20-year legacy of data that my Harvard Business School professor, Dr. Lynda Hill, has into AI insights. And the AI insights are going to be uh, a lot of different things that the platform will make life easier for innovators from jobs that can be done, like simplifying your challenge statement creation, filling out pieces of the workflow based off of data that you already have, creating test plans on behalf of you so you don't have to write your own test plan. We're getting pretty smart. You can write your own. The AI would be able to write a test plan draft that would save people a lot of time. But finally, we're creating this Ask Lynda function. So if you're seeing a bottleneck in the process, you could ask Lynda why. And she combines not just performance data that's coming out of our platform, but also her 20 years of cultural knowledge. And we're the only platform to measure culture in combination with how that could be a barrier and turning it into an enabler using her research. So we're going to put Lynda in your pocket.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of exciting stuff, and especially investors out there. Seed round coming up. So Kim, really appreciate your time today, sharing your experience and your journey. If listeners would like to learn more about Innovation Force, where should we send them online?
Yeah, innovationforce.io.
All right, so check out innovationforce.io to check out the project and Kim's journey. And again, Kim, really appreciate your time sharing your experience today.
Thanks, Ben. This has been great.
Thanks.